Hello, it's Beverly with the Intuitive Interior. Time again for your I Ching reading, October 2021. This energy is already kind of starting to slip in a little bit to the general feeling. The actual shift doesn't happen until the 7th, which is Thursday. October is an interesting month. In flying stars, that philosophy is, the energy moves from its natal home of, let's say, for example, the north is the water element. Well, the water element corresponds with the number 1. When it's in its home place, or a wood element, because water nourishes wood, it's fine, it's good, but sometimes you get a little too much of that. Or if it decides to move into the south sector where the fire element lives, it can get a little, well, steamy, fractious. There can be some challenges. So this month has a lot of the kind of that doubling energy feel, which can be good and can be uncomfortable. So for all of those really happy moments, you get to feel it double good. For those places where you're resisting, you can feel double bad. So keep that in mind as I share the cards. I was just like giggly, though, realizing that we got this double month thing going on here, the double flying stars stuff, as well as, October, Halloween, spooky already. And then I pull these cards. So the first one is number 60. The card itself, it's called limitations. Now, limitations can feel bad, but come on, they're also like boundaries. And we all need some boundaries. Personally, I like having doors to my office so that it helps decrease the sound that is coming through from whatever. And I like having the boundaries when I'm bowling, because yes, sometimes often the ball goes into the gutter, but it's not going into the other people's lanes unless things have really gone awry, which I don't bowl very much these days. Anyway, number 60, limitation. Here you can see the gua here is dui. Dui is the yin metal. So think about the softer metals, things that you can make jewelry with, that aluminum foil, things that can bend, turn into a different type of form fairly easily. But then on top is the kan, hexagon or trigram, that goes along with water. So now you have some deep emotions on top that are kind of pushing down on this possibly flexible cup that is providing support. So there's a lot of emotional support, a lot of containment, but things can feel a little, you might chafe a little bit at it. The words here on this card are self-discipline, practice, self-respect, introspection, ritual, cultivate patience, build up energy, and maturity. Oh, maturity. Why do we want to adult? It's because adulting is really how one can go from point A to point B successfully, and not just point B. You might even make it all the way to the end of the alphabet. So the focus line on this was number 1. Hold on, I just dropped my paper that has my notes on it. The focus line on this specifically is try as you might to avoid the frustration and humiliation of growing pains. There is nothing you can do about any inner or outer hurdles you might have to face right now. It is the nature of things that all of us must continually be faced with opportunities to grow beyond the comfort and safety of the known. And even though it is nearly always untimely in our personal calendar of preferences, it is precisely this personal calendar that needs to be updated and refreshed from time to time. Think about the container that I on the kan hexa, or the dwi hexagram, that yin metal. Yin metal, that's you got to change the form of your container. It's time to rethink some things again. Maybe, for here in my hometown, the COVID threat level, if you will, is almost down to 3. So we were at 5 earlier, and we're making our way back down to 3. So does that mean that we all go back, totally maskless, everything? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you can start being a little more, making a few more adjustments. Maybe in your part of the world, it's not so, and you might have to rearrange some things there. Maybe it's time for a new job. Maybe it's time for rethinking how you are communicating with loved ones. So again, those are those containers, and things are about to shift, but boundaries, limitations, we have speed limits for a reason. That's to help keep society working together and functioning positively. There was one other piece in here that I thought it was interesting. Talking about, achieving your goals. Let's say you worked really hard to get a degree. Now you've got to actually move out of the classroom into work world, and then, okay, so what's the next goal? Yeah, keep that in mind. The next card is one that I've actually never worked with before. This is number 18. Work on what has been spoiled. So that card, it has the hexagram here, the sun, that is the yin wood, with the gen hexagram, which is yang earth, on top, or trigram. That's the hexagram. The hexagram is all the 6 of them. That's the card number 18. The trigrams. Okay. This one, the words are healing, correct past mistakes, make repairs, clean up corruption, restore balance, and responsible action. This focus line was number 6. So it says, beware of the tendency to congratulate yourself for having known it all along, or actually being in a position now to say, I told you so. It might be true, but your energy is better spent on tending your own garden and enjoying your own flowers, grateful that it will be easier to smell the roses now that the garbage dump down the road is being cleaned up. Obviously, I have a lot of people who have a lot of different philosophies. You want to look at this from a political standpoint, it could be the Republicans saying, see, we knew it all along. It could be the Democrats saying, I told you so. It doesn't matter. The reality is there's right and wrong in many different philosophies. And again, I use that as an example. I'm not talking about this as the only thing that's going on here. It could be in another relationship where someone said, okay, well, no, it's best to cook the cookies at 350. And somebody else is saying, no, it's best to cook them at 375. Maybe it is 350, maybe it's 375, but gloating, this is telling you not to gloat, not to be acting all superior over in your corner of the world, unless, of course, you want to be alone in your corner of the world, because not a whole lot of people are going to really enjoy hanging out with you. It also is really admonishing us to take a look at all those ugly pieces, those ugly pieces that we think are not worthy of addressing, and realizing that, yeah, in fact, they're very worthy of addressing, and it's time to do it now. This is the time. Again, remember that double energy that I was talking about earlier? Now is a great time to take that extra motivation, that extra oomph, and really dig into those piles. The chapter that I wrote in my book, this collaborative book called Dare to Shift, it's about shifting your focus. It's about the piles that you have around. Well, piles are simply stagnant energy. And often at the very bottom of those piles is some kind of an emotional hook that keeps you from really wanting to address it, because you're going to have to go down there and take a look at what's been happening down there. And at this point in time, it's turned into probably a gooey mess or compost. Well, use that to shift yourself out of whatever stuck position you're in, so that you can then go towards what you're wanting to do. It does require a lot of patience, and sometimes it requires assistance. And this being the year of the ox, especially the yin metal ox, it's all about getting creative, about getting, making sure that you are using all of the resources at your disposal, and going to the experts to get assistance. That's one of the reasons why I still love, I love working with people on feng shui with the intuitive coaching piece tied in, because I help people see what they aren't seeing anymore. I'm one of those people that can help you clean up what's been spoiled. The final card, loved it, is called Retreat. Be kind to yourself. The trigrams here, the bottom one here, again, is the same one that was on the top of the other card. Again, is Yang Earth. The top one is Chan. Chan is Yang Metal. So you've got this heavy, like containment energy on top, with this stillness of the Yang Earth on the bottom. So retreat. It's a timely departure, letting go, withdrawal, reevaluation, retirement, and don't hesitate to walk away. You can see, the birds. The example here is the birds are flying south for the winter. They know when the weather is about to change. They know when it's time. It was that old saying, "Fish or cut bait." They know when it's time to cut bait. They're getting out of there. They see that, okay, maybe this old way of, I'm sticking your feet in the ground, I'm not going to budge. It doesn't matter what you tell me. I am going to throw away my recyclables without rinsing them out. Maybe it's time to rethink that. Maybe it's time to actually look at, are things really being recycled? Are we being told the truth? Or have I been too stubborn to actually hear the truth? Am I too identified with a certain position and unwilling to make that change? This is the month. This could be the one to make you look at things and go, perhaps my ego has been running the show, and I've forgotten to check in with my heart and with good old scientific logic. Science, so I'm again kind of on a little tangent here. Scientific reasoning doesn't mean that you automatically trust everything that's out there, but it does mean that you can give yourself the space to question, give yourself the space to shift. Because when you're constantly trying to prove yourself wrong, you often find out that, oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was right. But you now have the open-mindedness and the open-heartedness to know when it's time to cut bait. So this particular focus line is number 5. It says, take your cues from the facts and not the fictions. It will save you from an extended emotional funk. The mind is always happy to postpone dealing with reality as long as it can by keeping you mesmerized and occupied elsewhere. Retreating from this kind of thinking can be as simple as withdrawing your attention from it in a friendly but firm way. Have we all gotten a little bit zoned out with the whole Netflix and chill? It could be that that's actually been giving you the space to gather your resources so that you can go back into the fray. It can be that, because we all need time to retreat. Retreat is not a bad thing. Retreat means that you put your hand on the stove, you realize, oh goodness, this is hot. I'm going to take my hand off of this hot stove, and then you can reevaluate actions in the future. The thing that here is, withdrawing something from something it's about the fight or flight reaction, yeah, of course, but you have to, when your whole body starts to scream, get out, this is not for me. There's not a whole lot of logical about that sometimes, but this is the time. So if your whole body is saying, okay, this is really getting to be a negative situation for me, it's time to make a shift. And it's when you give yourself that permission, again, a lot of good things here. Let me read this. I'm just going to read this to you. It says retreat. Where am I? It is common sense to submit to the changing seasons in pursuit of a more accommodating climate, especially when the alternative would be dangerous. Only humans are so foolish as to ignore the signs, preferring to hold fast even to that which is likely to make them suffer. Retreating into nature is restorative by providing the space for contemplation and realignment with your subtle inner rhythms. And meditation is a form of retreat that can happen without ever going anywhere. Withdrawing from the day's busyness by turning your attention inward makes it easier to dispassionately evaluate the outer signs of change, enables you to make right choices, and renews a sense of well-being. So, my friends, that is what October has for us. I've got my Tong Shu calendar here. We're moving into a Yang Earth Dog month. So again, Yang Earth, think mountains. Dog energy can be, it's very loyal. It's very kind of stick with it. But it can also, come on, dogs can be friendly. Dogs can be a little nippy. So there's going to be a fair amount of feeling of stubbornness here. So when you take all of this into account, with the limitations, with the work on what has been spoiled, and with the retreat, this is a good time, another good month, just to, again, really seriously reevaluate where your loyalty has been lying. Now, this energy is good pretty much through the 8th of October through the 6th of November. I'll be back next month with your November reading. In the meantime, happy Halloween, happy whatever other holidays are going on, and just be happy.